Commissioner Ramos is not responding. We may not have a quorum.
Everybody, I'm here. The council chamber Zoom was on mute, so I didn't hear anything before this.
Thank you.
Thank you. We just took roll, so that constitutes quorum, I'm assuming, with 4 members.
With Commissioner Ramos.
Present.
Chair, you have quorum, and for the record, Commissioner Ramos will be participating via Zoom.
Thank you. Before we begin, I'd like to remind my fellow commissioners to turn your microphones on when speaking and off when not speaking. And when speaking, please place the microphone about 4 inches away from you. Thank you. Members may attend the public meeting, Planning Commission meetings in person or virtually via Zoom. I now invite the Commission Secretary to describe the way the public can access and participate in this meeting.
This meeting is being live streamed via our portal, www.santa-anna.primegov.com/public/portal, and to YouTube at www.youtube.com/City of Santa Ana videos. If you would like to provide a public comment, you may do so in the following ways. Join the meeting via Zoom. Enter meeting ID 824510081666. When the item you would like to comment on is being discussed, select the hand icon to let us know you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the name you entered. You can also join the meeting by calling 669-900-9128. Enter meeting ID 824510081666. When the item you would like to comment on is being discussed, press *9 to let us know you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the last 3 digits of your phone number. After you are called upon, you may press *6 to unmute yourself. For those who are attending this meeting in person and would like to provide public comment, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. All speakers will have 3 minutes to speak. I will alert you when your time is up.
Thank you. We will move on to public comments on non-agenda items. Secretary, does anyone wish to speak?
If you are attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on non-agenda items, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you are participating via Zoom and would like to comment on non-agenda items, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you are calling in and would like to comment on non-agenda items, please dial *9, then *6 to unmute yourself. I will wait a few seconds. Chair, we do not have any speakers.
All right, thank you. So we'll move on to the consent calendar items. Is there a motion to approve item A, minutes from April 25th, 2022? And item B, excused absences? Well, we'll take that separately. I guess we need to take that vote separately. So just a motion on item A, the minutes from April 25th.
I move we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Wu and a second from Commissioner Calderon. Madam Secretary, can we have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Alderetti. Commissioner Calderon.
Aye.
Commissioner McLaughlin. Commissioner Ramos.
Aye.
Commissioner Wu.
Aye.
Vice Chair Pham. Chair Morrissey.
Aye.
Motion approved by majority with commission members Alderetti, Commissioner McLaughlin,
Vice Chair Pham.
and Vice Chair Pham absent. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, and the second item would be excused absences. So we have Commissioner McLaughlin and Vice Chair Pham. we have a motion to excuse those absences?
I move.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wu and a second by Commissioner Calderon. Madam Secretary, can we have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Aldereti,
Yes.
Commissioner Calderon,
Aye.
Commissioner McLaughlin, Commissioner Ramos,
Aye.
Commissioner Wu,
Aye.
Vice Chair Pham, Chair Morrissey.
Aye.
Motion approved by majority with commission members McLaughlin and Vice Chair Pham absent.
Thank you.
That Commissioner already joined at 5:41.
Thank you. So that concludes the consent calendar, and we'll move on to the business calendar. I'll go through the public hearing protocols so that everyone knows what to expect. First, the staff will provide a presentation and answer questions from the commission. The public hearing will be opened. Then the applicant will be given the opportunity to speak, limited to 15 minutes. Members of the public will be given the opportunity to comment, limited to 3 minutes. The applicant will be given the opportunity to respond to comments made by the public, limited to 5 minutes. Public hearing will be closed, and discussion will return to the commission with formal action taken to approve, conditionally approve, deny, or continue review of the application. Please consider the following suggestions when organizing your comments. Please state your name and address, strictly voluntary. State whether you support, oppose, or are neutral to the proposal. Your statement should include all pertinent facts within your knowledge. Avoid gossip, emotion, and repetition. A clear, concise, and non-repetitive argument is most effective. This is the time and place for public hearing on item number 1 for the property located at 1411 North Broadway. Please note, decision on this matter is final unless appealed within 10 days by any interested individual or party. Before we begin, do any commissioners have anything they wish to disclose with regards to this item? Start with Commissioner Aldereti.
I have nothing to disclose.
Commissioner Calderon.
No disclosures.
Commissioner Wu.
Absolutely none.
Commissioner Ramos.
No disclosures.
And I have nothing to disclose. And now we'll have Mr. Pedro Gomez. Staff will give a brief presentation.
Hi, good evening, Chair and fellow commissioners. The first item on tonight's agenda is a request for a density bonus agreement application to allow the construction of an affordable 48-unit permanent supportive housing community on the site address as 1411 North Broadway. The project is proposed to be entirely affordable with 47 units of permanent supportive housing for individuals and a manager's unit. The applicant is requesting concessions and waivers from the city's development standards through the density bonus agreement pursuant to the California Government Code. The project site is approximately 0.6 acres, and it's located along North Broadway, south of 15th Street and between Broadway and Sycamore Street. The general plan land use designation is professional and administrative office, and the site is located within the Broadway Corridor District of the Midtown Specific Plan, or SP3 zoning designation. Property consists of an L-shaped parcel developed with a 1- and 2-story institutional building. The 1-story portion faces Broadway, while the 2-story portion is located along the rear adjacent to Sycamore Street. The property is surrounded by commercial and professional uses to the north, south, and east, and multifamily residential and professional offices to the west. These next couple of slides provide a few site photos of the existing building. The first slide shows the front of the 1-story portion along Broadway. The image on the right shows the west and south facades along Broadway as well. This next slide shows a portion of the north facade of the 1-story building and the west facade of the 2-story building, and that's on the right, on the left. The photo on the right shows the east and the south facade of the 2-story building as seen from North Sycamore Street. This slide provides a summary of the development and use chronology for the site. The Santa Ana Tustin YWCA was established in 1924 and officially became a chapter of the National YWCA in 1925. By 1940s, they had an active membership of several hundred and had a need for a new expanded facility. This current site was constructed in 1950 and dedicated in 1951. The building was Santa Ana YWCA's first purpose-built headquarters and included a gymnasium, kitchen, nursery, lobby, meeting rooms, and offices. In order to support women experiencing homelessness in Santa Ana, a hotel addition was planned in 1985. This short-term housing facility comprised a tall second-floor addition over the rear of the building. The construction of the 20 double occupancy rooms over the original gymnasium was completed in 1986, and the hotel opened in 1987. The Santa Ana Tustin YWCA was listed as number 63 on the local Santa Ana Historic Register in 2001 and categorized as landmark. The property is a late and modest example of the Spanish colonial revival style applied to an institutional building in Santa Ana. Moreover, the building is associated with post-war institutional development patterns in the city. And specifically, the building is associated with the Santa Ana Tustin YWCA, which is considered an important social and cultural institution in the city. On March 3rd, 2022, the Historic Resources Commission considered a historic exterior modification application to allow the proposed exterior modifications to the building in order to facilitate the construction of the proposed permanent supportive housing units. At the meeting, the Historic Resources Commission approved the application by a vote of 8-0. The next couple of slides highlight the existing conditions and the proposed scope of work. This first slide is of the existing site plan. You can see that the property and the existing building are both L-shaped and that the current vehicle access is taken from Sycamore Street. So Sycamore Street is on the right-hand side here, and then Broadway. This would be the front of the building, and then the rear. This next slide helps to illustrate the one-story and two-story portions of the building. The red area described as the east and west wing is the area of the existing building that is one story. And that's this area here. The area highlighted in yellow is the area described as the north-south wing, or the two-story portion of the building. If the commission recalls, this is the portion of the second-story addition constructed in 1986. So that's here in yellow. The proposed project consists of a new 4-story addition with 20 parking spaces on the ground level and residential units, laundry rooms, and communal space on the upper levels. In order to accommodate the proposed addition, the 2-story building is proposed to be completely demolished. And you can see that the area highlighted in yellow here on the PowerPoint, this is the area completely proposed to be demolished. In addition, a portion of the single-story building will also be demolished. This area is highlighted in black. And the demolished area will be replaced with the new 4-story building in the approximate location and footprint, which will be better shown on the next slide. Here we have the proposed site plan. As you can see, the new structure would be significantly set back from the west property line or Broadway, approximately 145 feet. As designed, the addition would include ground floor parking or a podium and 3 stories of residential units above. Vehicle access is still proposed along Sycamore Street with a new drive apron. The majority of the 1-story portion of the building, which stretches roughly 126 feet, and that's here, from the front or west facade, will be converted for offices, a training center, a community room, and 3 residential studios. The overall scope of work would require interior demolition of the area, but the overall floor plan would remain the same. Open space is provided through a private interior courtyard, which is shown here. It's approximately 1,877 square feet in size. The design and layout of the proposed courtyard creates a unique outdoor area within the development that functions as a passive outdoor space. The courtyard would feature robust landscaping and seating options. The next couple of slides provide the proposed floor plans along all 4 floors. As mentioned, 1 unit would be set aside as an on-site manager's unit, and that can be seen on the first floor here. The manager's unit would have 2 bedrooms and it'd be approximately 979 square feet in size. And the manager's unit would include a full kitchen, a bathroom, in-unit storage, and open and common living areas. The additional 47 units are proposed as permanent supportive housing units. The units would range in size from 400 to 599 square feet and would be designed as studios, containing full kitchens, bedrooms, bathrooms, and again, open and common living areas. The overall development will feature on-site amenities such as communal laundry facilities on the 2nd through 4th floor, on-site bicycle storage, computer room, office spaces, community rooms, outdoor courtyards, a dog run area, and a 348 square foot fitness room. Here we have the proposed elevations. The first highlights of the south elevation with Broadway to the left and Sycamore to the right. The project features a Spanish colonial revival style, common of many multifamily or mixed-use residential communities in the city of Santa Ana. The Spanish colonial revival style respects and complements the surrounding neighborhood. Here we have the west elevation, and this is along Broadway, looking east. As you can see, the Spanish colonial revival style would include elements such as a low-pitched clay tile roof, rectangular massing, and stucco wall cladding. It will be compatible with and distinct from the existing historic building. To help visualize the addition, staff has included the building section. As mentioned, approximately 126 feet of the existing one-story portion, which can be seen on the screen here, will be retained, while the 4-story addition will be located towards the rear alongside Sycamore. And here we have a couple of renderings provided by the architect, and this is shown along Broadway. And here's one last perspective along Broadway. During the density bonus agreement's 55-year term, the units are to be rented for occupancy by extremely low income tenants. These affordable units will rent to individuals who earn less than 30% of the area median income, or AMI, for Orange County, which is currently set at $74,700, adjusted for a 1-person household size. For example, based on current figures, if a qualifying tenant's gross annual income is $20,000, the maximum annual rent cannot exceed $6,000. As proposed, the project is designed to meet the city's adaptive reuse ordinance. The purpose of this ordinance is to provide alternative development standards for the conversion of eligible buildings in project incentive areas from non-residential uses to dwelling units. Pursuant to the ordinance, residential uses are permitted in the project incentive areas, irrespective of the underlying zoning, as part of the approved adaptive reuse project. The change in use is subject to 5 development standards, including minimum unit sizes, required commercial retail space, common area spaces, open space, and compliance with Chapter 30, which is the city's historic chapter. The purpose of the state density bonus law is to encourage the development and availability of affordable housing by requiring the inclusion of affordable housing units within new developments. Pursuant to the California Government Code, a local jurisdiction is limited in its ability to deny requested concessions and waivers, and is preempted from denying the density bonus agreement application. Due to this project's 100% affordability rate, the developer can seek up to 3 density bonus concessions and unlimited waivers pursuant to the California Government Code. However, this project does not seek an increase in allowable dwelling units, as the project is designed as an adaptive reuse project. Pursuant to the adaptive reuse ordinance, adaptive reuse projects can exceed the maximum general plan density, provided that the adaptive reuse project complies with the development standards. Pursuant to section 41-1607 of the Santa Ana Municipal Code, an application for a density bonus agreement is required to be approved by the Planning Commission for any project containing concessions and or waivers. The Planning Commission's review of the density bonus agreement is based on the following findings. 1, that the proposed development will materially assist in accomplishing the goal of providing affordable housing opportunities in economically balanced communities throughout the city. Two, that the development would not be inconsistent with the purpose of the underlying zone or applicable designation in the general plan land use element. The deviation is necessary to make it economically feasible for the applicant to utilize a density bonus authorized for development pursuant to the Santa Ana Municipal Code. Moreover, the project does not require a site plan review application for the municipal code. Therefore, the Planning Commission's review and determination for this request is limited to the provisions of the density bonus agreement application only. This proposed project requires 2 concessions. The first concession is for the building height. The maximum building height in the Midtown specific plan is 35 feet or 3 stories. The height of the proposed addition is 54 feet, 6 inches and 4 stories. The second concession for the undergrounding of utilities, all proposed utilities will be underground with the exception of an existing overhead power line over the existing building with a recorded Southern California easement, and that's proposed to remain. When analyzed together, the 2 requested concessions could be avoided if the project were designed on a different site, using a different site plan, or demolish a cultural resource. If the project were designed with a subterranean parking structure, designed with reduced massing, or designed to demolish and replace the 1-story portion of the historic building, the additional area on the site would become available for underground overhead utilities and would allow the project to meet the required height requirements. However, these changes would reduce the number of units that could be constructed on the site and therefore reduce the number of affordable housing units that would result from the project. In addition, the changes would increase development costs and reduce the financial feasibility of the redeveloping of the site, resulting in affordable housing project becoming financially infeasible due to the significant increased financial implications. Moreover, based on the analysis provided within this report, the proposed project satisfies the purpose of the state density bonus law and assists in accomplishing the goal of providing affordable housing opportunities. It increases the city's rental housing stock to serve the needs of diverse and underserved populations, provides for an economically balanced community by providing housing for different demographic and income levels, and satisfies the purpose and the intent of the city's adaptive reuse ordinance in the Midtown specific plan to promote pedestrian-oriented environment with a mix of land uses. This project was subject to the city's revised sunshine ordinance meeting. 2 meetings were held virtually, one on February 3rd and the second on March 9th. These meetings were publicly noticed through the OC Register and posted on the city's website, and invitation mailers were mailed to properties within 1,000-foot radius of the project, as well as local community organizations. The meetings did include presentations on the project, as well as a question and answer period to address answers and collect feedback. Approximately 17 participants attended the first meeting, while approximately 14 attended the second. Pursuant to CEQA, the recommended action is exempt per section 15194, an affordable housing exemption. Environment review number 2022-5 will be filed for this project. And lastly, there's no fiscal impact associated with this project. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution approving density bonus agreement application number 2022-1 as conditioned. That concludes staff's presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time. And I will include that the applicant is here today, as well as an architect that can answer any of the Planning Commission's questions.
Right. Thank you very much. I'll bring it back to the commission and see if they have any questions for staff. Start with Commissioner Wu.
I don't have any question for staff. Great presentation.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Ramos, do you have any questions or comments?
Just one question. So I know that this development is intended to serve women that are experiencing homelessness or at risk of homelessness. I'm just wondering how at risk of homelessness is being defined and how women that would identify as being at risk of homelessness could seek housing at this development if approved.
Thank you, Commissioner. I believe that question might be better answered by the project applicant, Ratil, with Wise Place, who will have an opportunity to speak, I think after, well, when the public hearing is opened.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Already, do you have any comments or questions?
Yeah, just a question related to the design. Is it the one-story structure? As I read the report, I wasn't clear. Is it just a one-story structure that's being preserved so that that low slung, I'm pointing to the PDF or the PowerPoint in the front, it's that low slung, I don't know what color that is, maroon maybe, or orange. Is it that portion right there that's the part that's being preserved?
Thank you, Commissioner. Let me flip through this one here. I think this provides a better view of what portions of the building are preserved and what portions of the building are being demolished. Due to alterations to a portion of the single-story structure and then the alterations of the second-story addition in 1986, both of these areas were determined not to be as historically significant as the area that was remained untouched here. So a portion of the single-story building will be demolished, but 126 feet of it will be preserved. The addition will be in this area here, which will come in and line up with the portion of the one story that's going to be preserved. And then that's where we have this situation.
Okay, got it. That's the reason why I bring it up is I remember when I was on this commission at least 10 years ago, we allowed a clinic on Bristol to be torn down. I don't remember the name of it. Maybe the clinic was a medical clinic at Bristol and I think Civic Center. And there was a big issue about whether we preserved the neon sign that was there. That clinic looks horrible. It lost all the Art Deco elements that it had. And so I swore I would never make that mistake again, but I don't have that concern here. So thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Calderon, do you have any?
Yeah, just
questions?
2 questions. So you mentioned that all of the units are going to be studios except for the manager one, correct?
That's correct, Commissioner.
Okay, and then second question I have is, what is the like how many people can live in a studio? Like what's the maximum capacity?
It's an interesting question because I believe there's another definition by the state and then what's intended here. I think the intention here is for single occupancy of the studios.
Okay, so 47 units, correct?
Mhm.
How many parking?
There's going to be 20 parking spaces proposed.
Okay. Okay, no further questions.
Thank you. I just have a couple questions, and one relates to the parking issue. How is the parking? Is it assigned or is it open parking? Do you know how that's allocated?
Thank you, Chair. Again, that one might be a better question for the applicant. I can tell you, though, that in the density bonus agreement, staff required a parking management plan to be included on there. If the commission would like to reference that section, let me just point you to it real quick. It's section 4.18 of Exhibit 11, and that's the density bonus agreement. The understanding is that given state allowances for no parking for these types of projects, and the fact that the applicant is proposing 0.42 parking spaces, which results in 20, we understand the concern for parking concerns, but state requirements, we can't require them to provide more. So we have worked with the applicant to provide parking management plan closer to development of the site to ensure that there is no parking concerns, and through either incorporation of either parking tags or some sort of designated in and out schedule, that there would be no parking implications onto the adjacent street in Sycamore.
Okay, I guess my reason I was asking is I was concerned about visitor parking. Obviously, want to have the ability for the people who live there to receive visitors conveniently. So So would the parking agreement or the parking plan cover that? Would that be part of the stipulations?
That would be part of it, but again, within the limitations of how much we can require them for parking as part of the state density bonus.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only question I have at this time. So I'll ask the secretary if we have received any written communication.
We have received 21 items of written communication. The comments have been distributed to the commission and have been posted on the website.
Okay, thank you. The public hearing is now open. Would the applicant like to speak on the matter?
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here, Chair Morrissey and Commissioners. My name is Bertil Agassi. I'm the I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Wise Place, and I'll just be making a brief 2 or 3 minute comments, and then I'll invite my partner, Casey Harris, Senior Project Manager of Jamboree, to answer your questions. It truly is an honor to present to you an opportunity to not only build Orange County's first and only supportive housing for unaccompanied women, but to do so while restoring and really highlighting the historical significance of our building is a dream realized for our organization. For almost a century, Wise Place is called Santa Ana home. And since our 1924 inception, we have proudly walked alongside and served over 8,400 women, being the only Orange County nonprofit to meet the unmet needs of unaccompanied women. And unaccompanied women are especially vulnerable because essentially they are all alone. And they are women that are alone because they lack the support system of family or children. And 1 in every 3 homeless adults is actually an unaccompanied woman, with seniors experiencing homelessness for the first time in our community at really heartbreaking and alarming rates. And personally, I will never forget walking into the gymnasium in 2018 when I was brought in to lead the organization. And there was about 70 women in the gymnasium in our emergency shelter staring back at me. And they had beautiful faces, salt and pepper hair, but women that were on walkers and wheelchairs and had amputated legs. And I knew in that moment what you share and know with me, that our community can do better. Unaccompanied women experiencing homelessness when left on the streets are 5 to 10 times more likely to be assaulted than even the general public. And unfortunately, year after year, statistics will reveal that upwards to 50%, and last year at Wise Place, almost 70% of the women that we served were survivors of domestic violence. And it was because of domestic violence that they experienced homelessness for the first time. And so obviously the need in our community is great. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing us to be here with you tonight and share with you our vision to bring affordable housing solutions to our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bertil, and good evening, Chair and Commissioners. As Bertil mentioned, I'm Casey Harris with Jamboree Housing Corporation. So I'll just answer a few of the questions that I noted, but happy to answer any additional. In terms of the population, the density bonus agreement defines the population as chronically homeless. So we'll be working with the county's coordinated entry system to meet the chronic definition, which would be homeless for at least a year. And those would serve the most in need of permanent supportive housing. And then in terms of parking, the question was asked if it's assigned. It will be assigned. And as Mr. Gomez mentioned, we'll be doing the parking management plan as well. So happy to answer any additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the commission have any questions for the applicant?
Yes, I do, Chair.
Commissioner Wu?
Could I have the executive director come back? My question has to do with the system of care you mentioned. Most people don't really understand what that means. And when a system of care is broken, what the community normally looks at is that we have a problem. And the problem is greater than any one organization can do. But when you're part of a system of care, which Commissioner Ramos asked a question about how people are met, that means that there are lots of other providers and partners, right, that are supporting the system of care, including government agencies and private agencies. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes. So the county would have an office on site and provide care as well. And then Wise Place will have their offices on site and provide supportive services. And then they work with community organizations to refer to outside services as needed.
And so when you have a system of care with support services partner, does that also provide an opportunity to move from crisis to stable and then out? It's a poor word, but
No, absolutely. We have another project in Santa Ana, Heroes Landing, and after only 1 year through the supportive services and having stable housing, someone was able to move out and purchase a home. So absolutely, our goal is housing retention and housing stability. So Jamboree has a 98% retention rate, keeping folks housed long-term.
So unlike while we're meeting the homeless need and the low income need per the general plan and the other concessions we made, this is also a system that really works toward getting people towards self-sufficiency. And it's just not just a housing program where you stay there for 5-10 years or whatever, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
and that's not a criticism.
Yeah.
It's just to put in perspective for people who are not in the social service field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think housing first is the metric that we use, and it's meant to promote housing stability long-term. So whether that's moving out and purchasing your own home or just being stably housed within our permanent supportive housing, either way, we see that as success. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd have a couple other questions for you.
Sure.
Commissioner Alderete, do you have any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Commissioner Calderon?
No.
All right.
No questions.
I guess no more questions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now take comments from the public. Secretary, do we have any members of the public that would like to comment?
If you are attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on this item, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it to the secretary. If anyone would like to comment on this item, please dial *9 if you are calling in, or select the hand icon if you are participating via Zoom. I will wait a few seconds. Chair, we have one speaker.
Good evening. This is Bex Hayho, the Executive Director of United to End Homelessness with Orange County United Way. And I just wanted to take a moment to share our appreciation and support for this development that is in front of you tonight. We know that in our community that there are a great number of women experiencing homelessness who will benefit tremendously from this development. And thank you for the thoughtful discussion that has been underway tonight. We have known Wise Place and Jamboree for many years, and we know that they run very successful organizations, and that this development will be both beautiful and very efficient and effective in the community. So thank you for looking at this tonight, and urge you to continue to move this development forward, as we know it will have a tremendous impact on the community's efforts to end homelessness. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did we have any other speakers or just the one?
We have no more speakers, Chair.
All right, thank you. We will now close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission. See if there are any final questions for staff. Commissioner Aldretti, do you have any final questions?
I do not.
Commissioner Calderon?
No questions.
Commissioner Wu?
I don't have any question. I'd like to make a motion once we're in.
Okay. Commissioner Ramos, did you have anything else you wanted to ask?
No questions, just a comment. When I was on the formerly Community Redevelopment and Housing Commission, now the Community Development Commission, I was able to tour the Weiss Place and their gymnasium, and I heard them speak about the housing that they were able to provide and their wish to provide additional housing. So I'm very happy to see this today, and I'm happy to support it. And I would like to second the motion once it's made.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move that we adopt resolution approving the density bonus application number 2022-01 as condition, including the concessions made, which I think is important. And in my motion, I'd like to personally say that working 25 years for the county's anti-poverty program, Community Action Partnership of Orange County, we've seen many people who are in need of housing like this, including, unfortunately, one of my own board members at times who was served by this agency. And knowing that I've attended several neighborhood association meetings where they brought up the project as well, they seem to be in favor of it as well. So it's my pleasure to recommend the adoption of this resolution.
Thank you. And we have a second by Commissioner Ramos.
Yes.
Madam Secretary, can we have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Alderetti,
Yes.
Commissioner Calderon,
Aye.
Commissioner McLaughlin, Commissioner Ramos,
Aye.
Commissioner Wu,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pham, Chair Morrissey.
Aye.
Motion approved by majority with Commission members McLaughlin and Vice Chair Pham absent.
All right. Thank you. Congratulations to Weiss Place. Thank you for a great development.
Let's get it built.
Okay, moving on to the next item on the business calendar. This is the time and place for the public hearing on item number 2 for the property located at 826 and 830 North Lacy Street. Please note the decision on this matter is final unless appealed within 10 days by any interested individual or party. Before we begin, do any commissioners have anything they wish to disclose with regards to this item? Commissioner Wu.
None.
Commissioner Ramos.
Yes, I do have something to disclose. So I received a noticing for this development as I live in the neighborhood. So I will be recusing myself from this item.
Okay, thank you.
What's the number of feet you have to be away from it? And do you maybe are beyond the number of feet, Commissioner Ramos?
Have council weigh in on that?
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. 500 feet is the ordinary threshold for recusal. There are some other guidelines that pertain to distances beyond 500 feet, but 500 feet or below are ordinarily grounds for recusal. That is without a letter from the FPPC.
Thank you. Thank you for asking that, Commissioner Wu. So staff, I don't know if anyone, I believe my address is on file, but I can also send it to any of you right now if you would like to check. I know the noticing I received was sent to anybody within 1,000 feet of the proposed development. I'm really close to the 500. I'm not sure if I'm a few feet under the 500 or just a few feet over it. So I was recusing myself just to be extra safe, but I'm happy to send my address to staff right now if you're able to check, or I believe my address should be on file as well.
Yeah, let's take a brief recess and see if we can get this worked out.
Chair and Commissioner Ramos, we do have the address information on our shared drive, but we can take a brief recess.
Okay, and if you prefer to call me, if that's easier, I'm also happy to take a call right now.
Can you, Commissioner Ramos, can you email your phone number?
Yes, to who?
Chair, we
Oh.
have her contact information.
We have it. Okay.
Okay, and I'll just add it should be the 657 area code. I know my old number was on file for a while.
Write down your new app. Very good internet. Okay, cool. We'll call you back if we need to. Or we'll go back. Thank you.
Oh, hi, Chair. How are you? Yes. That's a presumed. Yeah, there's.
Oh. Okay, Commissioner Ramos, we established that you are within the 500-foot radius. So You will need to silence your microphone during the hearing of this item.
Thank you, Chair,
Thank you
for the
for the cheerful.
confirmation. I will recuse myself from the item and come back once it's been voted on.
Okay, so
Commissioner Ramos, if it's possible to log off and log back on, I'd recommend that only because it's the equivalent of leaving the dais and not participating in the conversation.
Okay, sounds great. I'll hop off and then I'll come back.
so yeah, we'll call you at
Perfect. Thank
that
you.
point. Okay,
Bye.
thank you. So we had Commissioner Ramos and Commissioner Wu and Commissioner Aldretti. Any disclosures?
None for me.
Commissioner Calderon?
No disclosures.
And I don't have any disclosures. Okay, so we will now move on to our staff presentation by Mr. Pedro Gomez.
Thank you again, Chair. This next item on tonight's agenda is a request by Habitat for Humanity for approval of 2 site plan review applications to allow the infill construction of 2 new single-family residences on 2 vacant lots, addressed as 826 and 830 North Lacy Street. The 2 vacant lots are located in the National Historic French Park neighborhood and zoned specific development SD19. They have a general plan designation of low density residential and surrounded by single and multifamily residential to the north, east, and south. Along the west, they're surrounded by multifamily residential and a wholesale automotive replacement glass distributor. The site is located on the intersection of Vance and Lacy Street. And here we just have some photos of the existing sites. You can see that they're vacant and unimproved. And the next couple of slides just show the site plan, floor plan, and elevations for the first site, address as 826 North Lacy Street. This first residence is proposed as a 2-story Victorian-style home, approximately 1,869 square feet in size. The site would include a 2-car detached garage, approximately 441 square feet in size, accessed from a rear alley. So here's that rear alley. And then this is Lacy Street. The residence would include 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a laundry room, a living room, kitchen, dining room, and a 2nd-story loft and a front entry porch. The first floor would be approximately 1,238 square feet in size, and the 2nd floor would be approximately 631 square feet in size. Here we can see the proposed elevations along the front and the rear. As described in the report, the residence would feature a steeply pitched cross-gabled roof with a front-facing gable and steep shed roof towards the rear. The front entry is defined by a decorative 1-story partial width porch, framing the front elevation and improved with simple porch balustrades and a classical porch support columns with simple decorative brackets. The roof is proposed to be clad in a composition asphalt shingle, while the first floor elevation is proposed to be clad in red cedar wood lap siding. Here we have the left elevation and the right elevation. The 2nd-story elevation is proposed to be clad in a red cedar wood shingle siding with gable ends. While the gable ends would feature decorative scallop pattern wood shingles and decorative attic vents. And you can see those both on these ends. These are the gable ends with the attic vents. The residence would also feature wood windows on both floors, including fixed casement and single hung windows. The first floor along the north right elevation would also feature a bay window with 2 wood fixed windows and 2 wood single hung windows. These next couple of slides show the site plan, floor plan, and elevations of the 2nd residence proposed at 830 North Lacy Street. This residence is proposed to be developed as a 1-story craftsman-style home, approximately 1,538 square feet in size. The site would also include a 2-car detached garage, approximately 441 square feet in size, also accessed from the rear alley. So you can see that this is the corner of Vance Street and Lacy, and here we have the alley access. The residence would include 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a laundry room, living room, kitchen, dining room, and a front entry porch. The residence would also feature a low-pitched side gabled roof design with a partial width broad front entry porch with tapered columns. The entry porch is designed to partially wrap around the north elevation along Vance Street and would feature wood shingled piers and simple wood railings. The roof is proposed to be clad in composition asphalt shingles, while the rest of the residence is proposed to be clad in a combination of 8-inch red cedar wood lap siding and red cedar wood shingle exteriors. The residence would feature broad open eaves, decorative attic vents, and exposed structural members such as rafter tails and knee braces. The front elevation would be defined by 2 large casement wood windows, a tripart wood window with a large center window and 2 side casement windows along the north, south, and west elevation. The residence would feature a combination of tripart, casement, and fixed wood windows. All the proposed wood windows features divided lights, decorative wood trim, and extended lintels. Here we can see the conceptual landscaping for both sites. Both sites would be improved with a robust landscape palette with a variety of hardscaping materials, trees, and shrubs. As mentioned, both project sites are located within the boundaries of the French Park Historic District, or SD19. As detailed in SD19, all new construction requires review and approval by the Planning Commission to ensure that any new development maintains the integrity of the historic neighborhood. The Planning Commission is required to make findings that the proposed new construction complies with the Historic French Park guidelines and all applicable development standards. In addition, SD19 requires that all new construction be reviewed by the French Park Architectural Review Committee for compliance with the guidelines. Planning staff has reviewed the project for compliance with the guidelines and all applicable development standards for SD19. Both proposed residences would meet all the required SD19 development standards. In addition, both residences have adopted an architectural design identified as appropriate within the guidelines. For each resident has been designed to be compatible in size, scale, massing, and design to the nearby historic homes and to the neighborhood. They both maintain architectural standards compatible with the architectural character of the historic district and are each designed to include historically appropriate exterior materials, gable treatments, and architectural massing consistent with the existing historic architectural styles found in the area. Lastly, the French Park Architectural Review Committee has reviewed the proposed design and materials for the new residences and submitted comments expressing their support for the proposed residences, as each residence is highly characteristic to the given architectural style. The project is exempt from CEQA pursuant to section 15301, as the project consists of 2 limited residential structures. Based on the analysis, a notice of exemption will be filed. Environmental review number 2021-44 and 2021-45 will be filed for the project. There is no fiscal impact associated with either of the 2 developments. Given this information, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt the resolution approving site plan review number 2022-01 as conditioned and site plan review number 2022-02 as conditioned. That concludes staff's presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and I will inform the commission that the applicant is here today along with the architect.
Thank you for the presentation. Does the commission have any questions for staff?
Yes, I do.
Commissioner Wu.
Does this follow the traditional Habitat for Humanity type where they already have a pre-screened homeowner and they will be providing sweat equity, or is this different where it would be built and then it goes on the market?
Thank you, Commissioner. I can speak to a little bit to that question, but I would probably defer that question to the folks from Habitat for Humanity. I do know that these are ownership properties and will be made available to qualifying moderate income families. Anything further than that, I would probably just defer to our applicant today.
Okay.
Thank you. Commissioner Wu, do you have any questions? I'm sorry, Commissioner Ramos. Oh, she recused herself, sorry. Commissioner Aldretti.
Yeah, for staff, I just had one question. Who sits on the French Park Architectural Review Committee? Are those neighbors, or is that a combination of neighbors and staff?
Staff does not sit on any of the architectural review committees. I do know that those are property owners and neighbors within the French Park community.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, so it's a good question.
I have no
Commissioner
questions.
Calderon.
No questions.
Okay. I don't have any questions at this time. Other than I think looks like a nice project that fits really nicely into the fabric of the French Park neighborhood. So we will move on to written communication. Madam Secretary, do we have any written communication?
We've received one item of written communication, Chair. The comments have been distributed to the commission and have been posted on the website.
Okay, thank you. The public hearing is now open. Would the applicant like to speak on the matter?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Pedro, for your presentation. Chair and committee, thank you very much for including us tonight. My name is Jamie Fisher, and I'm the Director of Project Management for Habitat for Humanity of Orange County. A little background about Habitat. Habitat for Humanity of Orange County was founded in 1988. And to date, we have built 233 affordable home ownership opportunities within the county. Families qualify based on HUD regulations and go through an approval process. And that process also includes approval by the city housing departments as well. For Santa Ana, of the 233 homes that we've built, 28 of those have been built within the city of Santa Ana. City of Santa Ana is our largest partner in affordable home ownership within our organization. The 2 homes that we're proposing in Lacy would bring us up to 30 homes in the city. And we are actually working with the housing department as well for an additional 4 homes over on West Washington Avenue. So that number continues to increase, and we thank you for that partnership. Our partnership has been with you since 1992. And so we would, we're very excited about continuing this, like I said, with the Washington Avenue builds. For the Lacy Street project, both of these properties will be on a 99-year ground lease with the city of Santa Ana. So you will maintain ownership of the property. We have worked with the architectural committee in the French Park District, going back and forth with them on the design of these and received their approval and their blessing on these projects. We also have worked with the city and the city council to obtain a subsidy to help finance these homes to help keep them affordable and maintain the integrity of the historic district. So I also would like to state that Katie Flores here. She is the architect for the project, and both of us would be more than happy to answer questions. Oh, and Commissioner Wu, I can address that these will both be moderate income homes, and there's a different calculation for their income. Their loan will be, they will be paying interest on their loan. So while they will do some sweat equity hours, they don't have as many sweat equity hours as the low income families who are receiving a 0% equivalent mortgage.
Thank you. You can stay up here. We might have a few questions for you. Commissioner Aldretti, do you have any questions for the applicant?
I have no questions.
Commissioner Calderon?
I have no questions.
Commissioner Wu? No questions.
No question.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you again. It looks like you went back and forth several times, maybe with the design review committee, and looks like a very attractive project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So that will close the public hearing. Oh, I'm sorry. We have public comments.
Yes, Chair.
Sorry about that.
If
We'll
you're
open the public hearing.
If you are attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on this item, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If anyone would like to comment on this item, please dial *9 if you're calling in, or select the hand icon if you're participating via Zoom. We do have a member of the public that would like to make a public comment. Jeff?
Good evening. My name is Jeff Dickman, and I reside at 1218 North French Street in the historic French Park neighborhood. And I am one of 3 members of the Architectural Review Committee that worked on this project. And the other members who could not be present this evening are Sandy Welch and Al Brambilla. And this is kind of an unusual project for the French Park Architectural Review Committee, which has been in business, or at least the time that I've been there, for 25 years. And what we typically do is that the city will send us project applications. Let's say an owner wants to change out a window or make some major repairs. That process would begin at the city. If the city deems it appropriate, they then would pass a copy of the project to the neighborhood, and then the committee would review it. Sometimes we provide guidance on materials, construction types. We have one member of the committee, Sandy Welch, who does fabulous color palettes, and we try to work with the owners to, give them some room and the time and assistance. And so we typically, those are the projects we typically work on, are the existing stock of houses. This house is one of the very few rare ground up houses that we've had the opportunity to work on, which is terrific. And it was a more complicated project. And when Troy Hendrickson, I think the project manager we initially met with, when Troy approached the neighborhood, about the project, I said, well, we know the standard project architecture that you have, because there's 3 versions of it, I think, in French Court, the neighborhood just north of French Park. And it's an attractive house, but a modest house. And as we indicated to Troy at the time, we have houses that are a little bit bigger, a little bit more architectural details. And we thought that the existing design that Habitat typically constructs would probably not be compatible with the houses in the French Park neighborhood. And to Troy's credit, he took on that challenge and he said, I will work with you on this. And it was a difficult challenge because we had lots of architectural elements that we wanted to have included. We had some ideas of massing and scale and setback. And we thought along the way this would be difficult, and it kind of was. For us, we don't do new construction, but with the help of Troy and Katie Flores, particularly Katie, who was very skillful and very patient with the neighborhood, as we all kind of learned what we wanted to see, we were able to, over the course of 2 years, we worked consistently over a 2-year period to arrive at the architectural renderings that you now see. We arrived at designs for 2 houses that the committee agreed with. They met our goals for architecture, appearance, massing, the landscaping, the general appearance. We wanted the houses to be distinctive from what's existing, but also to fit in. And we believe that they do that. The benefits to French Park are several. First, we get 2 houses that are affordable. There's nothing affordable anywhere in our city. You wouldn't think so, but
Speaker,
even
your
in
3
our
minutes
neighborhood,
has
there's a
passed.
house. Pardon me?
Your time's up. 3 minutes has passed.
Oh my gosh. Well, in conclusion, I offer the support of the French Park Architectural Review Committee. If you have any questions, I would be happy to address them. Thank you.
Thank you for coming and sharing that with us.
Thank you, sir.
But now we'll close the public hearing. Does the commission have any final comments or questions for staff? Start with Commissioner Wu.
No.
Commissioner Aldretti.
I have no comments.
I have no
And-
questions. I have comments.
And I don't have any further questions. So we will I'll bring it back to the committee for a motion. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll motion to approve site plan review number 2022-01 as condition and site plan review number 2022-2 as condition.
Have a second?
Second.
Second. A motion from Commissioner Calderon and a second from Commissioner Aldretti. Madam Secretary, can you make a roll call vote?
Commissioner Alderetti,
Yes.
Commissioner Calderon,
Aye.
Commissioner McLaughlin, Commissioner Ramos, Commissioner Wu,
Aye.
Vice Chair Pham, Chair Morrissey.
Aye.
Motion approved by majority with Commission members McLaughlin and Vice Chair Pham absent and Commissioner Ramos recusing themselves.
Thank you. So that will, congratulations to Habitat for Humanity. Thank you for a nice project. That will conclude the business calendar and we'll move on to comments. Are there any staff member comments?
Can we get
Oh,
Commissioner
we need to get
Ramos back?
Commissioner Ramos back. Yeah, let's make a phone call and get her back.
Commissioner Ramos has returned, Chair.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Commissioner. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we just concluded that item and we're concluded the business calendar and we're moving on to comments. So does the staff have any comments they'd like to make?
Don't have any comments.
Okay, thank you. And commission comments. We'll start with Commissioner Wu. Do you have any comments today?
I don't have any comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Ramos, any comments?
No comments today.
All right. Commissioner Already?
No comments.
Commissioner Calderon?
I just have a couple things to say. Christina, I think she left. She kind of gave her a little farewell and just want to say thank you to her for all the work that she's done and welcome Chelsea. That's it.
Thank you. So is Christina still with the city or is she moved on? Where is she? She was there. She was sitting.
Christina has been, was hired to help us during the absence from Sarah
Okay.
Bernal. And her time is expiring pretty soon, but I appreciate the comments and we really appreciate all the help she's provided to us. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you for that. I just had one comment. I commented maybe a couple meetings ago about 4th Street businesses and the construction there, and it looks like things have improved since that time. So thank you to staff for helping out with that. It looks a lot cleaner around there. So much appreciated. So we will adjourn this meeting. The next regular meeting will be held on Monday, May 23rd at 5:30.